Welcome to the future, prison citizens. I put them together.
Welcome to Cognify, a facility designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time using AI-generated content. Depending on the seriousness of the subject's crime and their sentence, the memories could be tailored to the rehabilitation needs of each subject. The artificial memories implanted by Cognify would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing neural networks of the brain, preventing cognitive dissonance and ensuring the subject experiences the memories as if they were real. The Cognify concept offers a new approach to criminal rehabilitation, transforming how society deals with offenders by focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. First, the prisoner is given a choice, either spending tens of years in a prison cell or seeking fast-track rehabilitation through artificial memory implantation. If the prisoner chooses to undergo fast-track rehabilitation, the Cognify device is used. Next, the prisoner undergoes high-resolution brain scanning to create a detailed map of their neural pathways. This brain map helps guide the Cognify device to target specific brain regions responsible for memory, reasoning, and logical thinking, such as the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, parietal lobe, and anterior cingulate cortex. Once the target brain regions are identified, Cognify is then placed around the head of the prisoner. The intensity and the type of artificial memories is then adjusted depending on the crime. Inside the criminal's mind, time would pass differently, slower than in real life, making them experience years' worth of artificial memories in just a few minutes. Synthetic memories are customized depending on the crime committed and the unique brain structure and psychological profile of the individual. Violent offenders could experience memories that are designed to trigger empathy and remorse, seeing their crime from the perspective of their victim, feeling their pain and suffering firsthand.
Interesting.
I mean, I like this idea of treating them like a patient in rehabilitation.
Yeah, I don't.
I think the fundamental flaw in this whole idea is that you can rectify a lack of like morality and a moral compass. I think that's the bigger situation. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's more of a God complex. And it's so obvious what the negative potential misuse of that technology could be. Well, why don't we just prevent that, right? Why don't we just shape people's memory so that they don't become criminals?
Yeah.
And so at what point do we cross that bridge where, an ounce of prevention, and then who knows what else they're implanting into our brain?
Well, I think too, it's the, what's funny in our social world, our social heavy world, is the commenting nature of things, where these things that oftentimes seem like you're being hyperbolic when you say them or come up with an idea, or you get labeled, tinfoil head or conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And there are people who legitimately are out there making this their aspiration to make that said thing possible, because they have the resources and so on to do so. If you have the world's resources at your grips, you think you're just going to sit back and you're going to try to find out what's possible to do with these things. And so I just think it's interesting that, the dismissive nature of some of these ideas, that our dismissive nature towards sort of novel ideas or ideas that seem like they go beyond our bounds of what's possible, is just rapidly encroaching upon us, that we'll have to consider these things. And then to your point, the moral compass, it's a very interesting thing, because on the other side of that is the person who is the victim, or the person who was harmed, and it's our way of actually playing God. I'm going to curtail what justice actually looks like. I'm gonna first of all, it's not a groundbreaking notion to treat prisoners in a more humane way. Cognify kind of leveraged it as that. It's not a groundbreaking thing. There's tons of programs around the world that show that um, certain ways of treating people who have committed crimes, who are offenders. What happens is, the West in particular, we send people to these prisons and we don't treat them like that. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
to baby them, you don't have to pacify them, but you can, if you strip offenders of their dignity and the fact that they're made in the image of God, despite their violent crimes or their heinous crime or whatever it is, that's where you see a system that puts out people that are, animal like, or can't adjust to being around other people, being back in repeat offenders and recidivism. Like, you can't, it's because you strip people of their dignity. You strip people of being made in God's image despite their choices. And
Right.
so technology, yeah, you're going to use technology, but you do in fact have a God complex. So you were spot on in saying that.
I also just wonder if you know that you're going through this treatment and that it's not real, does it actually prevent you from repeat offending?
Yeah.
Right? Minutes. I mean, time is one of those things that as human beings we don't entirely comprehend or understand
Yeah.
until you're actually in it, right? Until
True.
you're on a 3, 5, 10 year sentence.
Right.
There needs to be some real repentance created.
Right.
And if I can just reset, oh, it's okay, I did this thing and I can just go right back, or I can get this treatment, or I can opt out for that. Does it change the dynamic moral compass landscape?
Yeah. Well, there's also a faulty notion in there too that, like, just because you would have pleasant memories, you wouldn't still be able to do something again. Like,
Correct.
it's like, how many people do we know from who have decent, they have had good lives, might make a choice that ends up, you know, harming someone.
Well,
That's,
I think deep down everybody's capable of those things if they
well,
actually
yeah,
get to
man
that
is man
dark
is
place.
fallen, right?
Yeah.
So
So just because you have the good positive memories doesn't mean you're not going to go back and do some crazy stuff.
yeah, oh, I got a bunch of empathetic memories. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna get drunk and drive a car and kill someone. Am I not
Right.
gonna, right? So it's just like it's funny. This is the ideological war that we as entrepreneurs and just people in general, but we as entrepreneurs pertaining to the show have to engage with. That's why we feature these things, is because there's ideas behind these things that we have to consider. You don't just have to consider whether or not that's relevant to you. I'm never going to jail, or those kinds of things. It's just that these are ideas that are, you know, playing out in the world around you that ultimately will impact your business.
Right.
So, very
Yeah.
interesting stuff.